If you're new to the channel, then welcome, and if you're returning to the channel, then welcome back. I just want to say a quick thank you to you for tuning in. So last week I made a video talking about why someone might not want to go to college, and the main takeaways, in case you missed it, were this. Number one is that college is very expensive. In fact, I spent $35,000 on my degree, and compared to some people, that's actually a pretty decent price. College is also a very big time investment. Most people take 4 years to graduate, but so that way I could avoid paying extra money or student loans, I ended up taking 5 years to graduate from college. And perhaps the most important overall topic from that video was that college degrees over the last 10 to 20 years have really lost a lot of their value. And that's because they have to compete with much cheaper or even free alternatives with the advent of the internet. People can learn any skill that they want to learn and get a job doing that, or there are faster alternatives such as getting certifications or boot camps or even other online colleges where paying for a degree is significantly cheaper. However, there are still some reasons and even college degrees that are still worth attaining, and overall might make college a good decision for some. Which brings us to today's video. Now, just like how I said in last week's video, college is not for everyone. Well, alternatively, there are some people that going to college is still actually worth it for, which are some of the ideas and topics that I want to explore now. The most obvious and number one reason that college would be worth paying for or going for a degree is that you've chosen a career that you want to pursue which actually requires you to have a college degree. Which leads us to this. The people who will get the most out of having a college degree or pursuing one are the people that have a plan and a career that they want to pursue right away. They already know this as soon as they graduate high school or maybe when they turn 19, and they know that pursuing college is going to be worth it for them. The second part of that is the degree that they're choosing can easily be traded in for a lump sum of cash. Now you're probably thinking, hey, what kind of degrees can be traded in for a lump sum of cash? That sounds pretty nice. Well, I would say the top 5 or 6 would be engineering, mathematics, technology or computer science, anything in the medical field like being a doctor or nurse or maybe physician's assistant, and maybe being a lawyer. Now, putting computer science on this list may be a little bit controversial because I know that there are a ton of people out there who are learning all the skills they need to succeed in these jobs just completely by themselves, totally online, just complete self-learning. And they're getting jobs and making successful careers. However, the truth is that this job market for any kind of software engineering or computer science related topics has become so oversaturated that in order to be really competitive, especially if you're aiming for bigger companies like Facebook, Amazon, Google, having a degree and the practical experience on your own that you develop are really going to go hand in hand and make you more competitive. On top of that, if you really want to do any career advancement later down the line, maybe you want to be a senior developer or a manager or a director of some sort, having a degree is only going to help you that much more. So ultimately, this is why I still think that pursuing and getting a computer science degree is worth it in the long run. Now, the other career fields that I mentioned, engineering, mathematics, any kind of hard sciences, lawyer or medical field, those still typically require degrees to get into those jobs, which means that getting a degree in one of those areas is still going to be worth it. It's still going to hold its value. Now, of course, with medical school and law school, your student loan debt can really add up. But on top of that, if you do get a job in one of those fields, typically the starting salary is pretty good. And since you're someone who's obviously interested in financial topics and making smart money decisions, you're probably going to be in a good position as long as you keep building those efforts to pay off a lot of that debt early on in your career and make the most of your money. So if you're the kind of person who already has a plan lined up, you have your kind of goals laid out and you know exactly what you want to go for, and the career that you want to break into requires a degree, then I think you would be a very good candidate for someone who wants to or should go to college. Now, aside from just attending college and pursuing a degree that's going to get you a high-paying job, once you're already focused on those areas, there are a lot of other nice complementary benefits that you can get from attending college. First off is that you're going to be surrounded by like-minded peers, and this is really a great thing because you're going to be working with people who are interested in the work that you're doing, and they're going to challenge you, help you grow, and even compete with you at times to help you become better at what it is that you're ultimately interested in. Second is that through these interactions with not only your peers but also your teachers and other faculty at the school, you're going to be making connections connections and networking. This is another huge benefit because we've all heard the saying that it's not what you know, but it's who you know. And I would say from a practical experience standpoint, for me, that's been true about at least half the time. You and all of your peers at some point are going to be job hunting and trying to break into the industry that you've been studying so hard to try to get into. And if one of your peers gets a job somewhere, they could help you land an interview or even help you get a job at the place that they're working. Your professors will also be another tool that you connect and network with. They could have connections in the industry that can help you get a job somewhere. They could write you letters of recommendation or just give you general life and advice about the career that you're trying to get into. The last complementary benefit to attending college is having structure and focus, right? Having a degree plan and all of the courses that you know that you need to take being laid out for you, having a college professor lead you through course materials, and just having that structure overall will help you avoid some of the common pitfalls that people experience when they try to do self-teaching. Another case where paying for and attending college to get a degree might be worth it is if the college that you're going to is going to end up being free for you. Now, in what kind of situations would college be free? Well, number one would be getting any kind of scholarship, right? So if you were somebody who was really studious in high school and you made it an effort to get good grades and you were applying and getting a lot of scholarship offers, then having an academic scholarship and getting most of, if not all of your tuition paid for, makes getting a college degree totally worth it in my opinion because you don't have to pay for it. Another possibility is that you were a good or even really great athlete and you might get an athletic scholarship where you can take advantage of being able to play the sport that you enjoy and advancing into, the upper ranks of college, as well as getting most of or all of your tuition paid for college. A second situation where you might get college for free is if you were in the military and you have access to the GI Bill, where this will take care of most of your college. A third situation might be tuition assistance. And a lot of big companies offer this if they feel like they want to invest in your career. What they'll end up doing is helping you pay for your college, and by doing that, you just kind of owe them, maybe somewhere between 2 to 5 years of committed work service to that company. And it's just a way for them to pay for your college and also get value out of having paid for that for you. This is especially nice if it's a situation where you're going to get offered a promotion out of pursuing a degree, because not only do you get a pay raise when you get a promotion, but you're also getting a college degree, which is really just going to help you long-term in your career, and they're also paying for it for you. Now, the important thing with this to keep in mind is that you still want to have some level of interest in actually going to college, and you should be pursuing a degree that's relevant to helping you advance your career. You don't want to be stuck in a situation where you decide to go and then you end up dropping out and you end up having to pay that money back, because it defeats the whole purpose of getting this significantly cheaper degree or possibly free. So if you do have an interest in going to college and you can get an opportunity like a scholarship, a GI Bill, or getting tuition assistance for your job, you would also make another great candidate for going to college and getting a degree. Now, this last reason why somebody might want to go to college, it might sound a little weird, especially coming from a finance channel whose main focus is talking about areas in your life where you can save money or make more money or just spend your money wisely. But here it is. The last reason that paying for a college degree would be worth it for someone is simply this. If you have the desire and you have the resources or can find a will or way to pay for college, then I think ultimately you should go. This is because one of the most recommended investments on any of these YouTube channels that talk about these topics is always investing in yourself. Now, typically what people mean by that is developing some kind of skill or learning something new that they can use to make money. College at one point was universally recognized as the best place to start doing this. So if there's an area that you're very passionate about and that you want to study and become more well-versed in, then I encourage you to do so, because maybe you're going to be the kind of person who makes a contribution to that field, whether it be from a professional work area or from an academic perspective. And ultimately, when we're talking about research and advancement in kind of the academic area, obviously college is still the place to do that. Now, obviously, with this being a financial channel, my financial bias is telling me that not all degrees are created equal. So if you do want to go to college for something, I would still say that you should be focusing on some of the degrees that we talked about earlier in the video. But at the end of the day, this is your decision and your money, and what you decide to spend your money on is what you consider worth it to yourself. And like I said, while not all degrees are created equal, you can always take comfort in the fact that you are investing in yourself. In the same way that you don't need to go to college in the first place to be successful, if you decide to go to college, you don't have to get a degree in petroleum engineering to be successful or make a lot of money. In either case, what it really comes down to is this. It's all about you as an individual and what choices you're willing to make and what kind of plan you have implemented to move forward. So, to summarize between last week's video where I talk about why it's not worth it to pay for college and this week's video where I'm talking about why it would be worth it to pay for college, the conclusion is this. From a financial perspective, college is very expensive and time consuming. And so if you do decide to go, I recommend picking a degree that you know that will end up earning you a lot of money, so that way you can build a nice future for yourself. And on top of that, if you can get scholarships, grants, a GI Bill, or even tuition assistance from your job, then that's all the more reason to go to college because it's basically being paid for you. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't have a clear plan yet or you don't know what you want to do, that's okay, but I would recommend waiting or postponing or maybe not even going at all when it comes to college, because you could end up wasting a lot of time and money. With that in mind, if your only goal is to make money, then realize that you don't have to go to college to do that. You may be better served by just jumping into the workforce right away, gaining some experience, and earning money so that way you can get started building a bank account early. And that will give you options in the future if you decide that you do want to go to college or pursue some other plan. Now, to answer whether or not you should go to college from a personal perspective, all I can say is this. It's really just up to you. I've seen people that went to college and became very successful. I've seen people who have not gone to college and become very successful. And I've seen people go to college for a little while, end up wasting some time and money, or they end up getting a degree that's not even related to their career and still be successful, like me. Ultimately, just pick a plan and stick to it. And while you're going through that plan, make sure that you're doing your best to make financially informed decisions. If you can do that, I think you're going to be okay. So I hope that was helpful. The point of these videos is always to try and offer you a perspective that you may not have heard before, and at the very least to offer you a perspective from someone who's not that far away removed from trying to learn and make decisions about the topics that we discuss each week on the channel. Anyway, before you go, make sure to like the video, subscribe to stay up to date, and I'll see you all next time.